Hi, it's Tess, and today's tip is 467, and I'm just looking at it as weight loss and what are blocks that stop us from moving forward. And this actually applies to all areas of life. It's an article I found from a life coach, and his name was Mark Chernoff. And I thought he had some good pointers, and for me this was interesting because I did do a big move forward yesterday that actually I was looking at it and it went very differently than what things have gone for me in the past. Through the use of law of attraction, through the use of focusing my thoughts on things that make me feel good and stopping and trying to eliminate worry, because I used to live in a place of worry and anxiety all the time, it went really smooth, a lot smoother than I ever thought it would. And it made me realize that for all of us, we can put together those meditations and gratitude journaling, appreciation journaling, so that we change our thoughts, so that we don't focus negative and we focus positive. And for me, it's helped me to move forward faster. So these are some tips from this private life coach on how to move forward. And the first thing he said is, what blocks us from moving forward? The first thing is that we change nothing and we expect things to change. And that's kind of like Albert Einstein's if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten, which is the definition of insanity. So that's true. If you change nothing, why do you think it's going to be different? The next item that they talked about is you are waiting and waiting and waiting for the right time. Now, I was guilty of that until yesterday. And it was kind of interesting because I was sitting in a position and there was somebody I wanted to talk to and I knew they would be in. And I was sitting there and all of a sudden somebody says hello to me and I look behind me and they're there and I'm like, that's the sign. Just rip off the Band-Aid and do it. So I did it, and honestly, it might have been uncomfortable at first and there might have been a little, we had to get through a little bit of communication, but I'm going to tell you it was really, really much easier than I ever thought, and it went really smoothly. The next item is your planning and focus are in disarray, or you're continuing to overplan and not move forward. I think that's definitely an issue for a lot of people. The next item they talked about is you refuse to accept necessary risks, and I think I am guilty of that. I want absolute certainty, and you can't always have absolute certainty. You just have to trust that you have the skills that if you run across the bump, you'll get over the bump. The next item they talked about is you have yesterday's rejections blocking you from today's achievements. So you want to move forward. You want to take that risk. You don't want to think that what happened yesterday is going to happen today, because honestly, what happened yesterday, you have more skills to get through it today. So just take that leap and move forward. Or as Nike says, just do it. The next item he talked about is you refuse to take responsibility. Nothing changes if you don't change. That's a hard one sometimes to grab a hold of, but if you don't change, nothing changes. It's in our hands. We are responsible for our lives. And then the next one is you avoid the truth. And I always wanted this magic answer, this absolute certainty, and you just don't have it. And the best things in life come when you start reaching and growing into new things. The next item is you avoid the truth, even when it's right before you. It's kind of funny because when I took the steps that I took yesterday, today more and more things are coming together. They're showing me that I made the right decision. And I'm really excited and hopeful for what the future is going to unfold because I finally took that jump. The next one is you change your mind, and I think you have to be careful. Are you changing your mind because you're in fear of making a move forward? Or are you changing your mind because new information is available? Too often, I think for me, I did it out of fear. I didn't move forward because I was fearful of making a mistake. But in life, there's always going to be learning, which is the new word for mistakes. And that opportunity allows you to find more options down the road. So I'm trying to look at it as learning opens up new doors that were closed. If I stay stuck in waiting for perfect and not learning, I never get to all the doors that are open or available for me to go through. The next one is you tell yourself the wrong stories. And I've done that, and I probably have done that now. So I'll even admit that to Lori. I've probably done that a lot in the past because what I did yesterday was a challenge from her from group last week. And it just went so much smoother than I thought it would go, which is pretty amazing. So I'll move forward. If there's some learning to do along the way or some adjustments I need to make, I'll make those adjustments. But I've started through the door so that I can open other doors to provide me with other opportunities. Another thing is holding things that aren't real. I think a lot of our fears that we hold on to, instead of calling them learning. Hi, Terry, good to see you. And if anyone else is on, I just don't see your name, so good morning, thanks for being here. And I think another one, and this is true too even of me, I did a big thing yesterday, and it was a challenge from Lori from group, because she challenged me to something I've been talking about for over a year, and I did it. But what it was is, as much as I talk about it and share with you guys, I let myself fear making steps instead of knowing that no matter what moves forward with it, I will learn how I need to adjust to make the path work. And I'm starting to see things come together. And I'm grateful that the person I needed to talk to yesterday actually walked right up on me as soon as the workday started. And I'm like, that's my sign. Just break off the Band-Aid and take a step. And it feels good, because I know and I can feel in my heart of hearts I've opened doors that were closed. And sometimes until you take that move, that leap, those doors can never open. And that is kind of the Les Brown thing. If you don't ever take that move forward, those doors can never open. And those are the gifts that were waiting for you that you end up taking to the graveyard. And none of us want that. The next item he talked about is you want it to be easy. And you also expect it to be hard, because I'll say my example from yesterday. It was awkward to get it started, but once it started communicating with full honesty and disclosure, we worked through it in a way to try to be mutually beneficial to both parties. Because it's never about hurting another person, it's about making everybody feel good. And honestly, I think the conversation allowed both of us an opportunity to create a better environment for the future. So I think I learned something in that the longer I hold to a thought and I'm afraid of moving forward, I'm not replacing that fear word with the learning word. I keep doors closed that are waiting for me to open them. And I can feel it now. I know things are opening. And it's exciting to give yourself a chance to experience everything life has to offer. But if we always sit behind a door with a bunch of thoughts about how we can't move forward and fears that could be turned into learning opportunities, we never experience everything this life has to offer. I don't want to keep you guys on forever, but I will kind of go through some of these tips again. And just as a reminder, I did something yesterday that I've been talking about for over a year. Something I committed even in the experience with Chris Nagel back in March, something I committed to doing back then. I didn't meet my deadline exactly, but Lori called me out on it and I took the step. Well, what's interesting about it is that it feels good today. I'm not going to say there won't be some stumbles, there won't be some adjustments that I have to make, but unless I step up into that, moving into something new, I'm never going to be able to open the other doors that are waiting on the outside of that very first step. And I think I'm realizing that today. And I realized that when I went through what I had to go through yesterday, it was really truly able to be a mutually beneficial conversation. It was something that was truly an opportunity for both parties to move into what would be the next phases for both parties. So kind of the tips, this is from life coach Mark Chernoff, Getting Back to Happy. If we want to be happy, we have to move forward, because if we're stuck, that's almost like the stagnant pond. None of us want to be the stagnant pond. Some of his things he said to think about are, if you change nothing and expect different results, that's like Albert Einstein, the theory of insanity, as you don't change, you keep doing the same thing and you expect things to be different. It's kind of that same thought. The next one is, you're waiting and waiting for the right time. They always say the right time is now. It is right now, because the only way you can move forward is to take that step. If you need to make adjustments, that's just learning along the way. We got to let go of the idea that it's fear and accept it to be learning. The next item was, your planning and your focus are in disarray. Kind of just narrow it down, and I kind of narrowed it down. Do I have a perfect plan? No, but I have a working plan, and that's good enough, because as long as I keep myself open to learning and adjusting as I move forward, I'll find the path that opens the doors that I'm not aware of right now, that'll provide me more than I ever dreamed possible. I can see that now. I was blocking things from coming to me because I wasn't opening the doors. I was living back behind a door of fear, and that door of fear blocked opportunities from coming to me. The next one is you refuse to accept necessary risks. The world isn't perfect. I may make a misstep, but as soon as I make the misstep and I feel it, I know I've got enough of a background or enough resources for coaches and mentors that I can make the adjustment to move forward. Much better to move forward and make adjustments than to sit behind a door in fear. He said another thing was, you make yesterday's rejections today's focus. Yesterday's over with. Yesterday rejection was a learning to open a new door for today. Walk through that new door. Even if there's more learning to do, you don't know what is in the next set of doors. That might be the most beautiful thing that you have ever seen in your entire life. So I do see a few people on. Thank you for listening. And again, this is about moving forward. I took a big step yesterday, and it turned out so much better than I thought, and it truly turned out to be mutually beneficial. So remember, if you stay in doing the things that you've always done, nothing will change. If you get stuck in fear, you'll stay behind a door of fear, and you will never experience all that this life has to offer. Fear really needs to be renamed an opportunity to learn. And we all have resources available that will help us to the next step if we get to that place where we don't know what the next step is. We don't have to know the whole plan. Doc V has said it a dozen times. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Terry. And Doc V said a dozen times, there are many people who've accomplished what we want to accomplish before us. And in the tribe, everyone's got their hand out to help the next person up. So definitely go with that. We've got to stop telling ourselves the wrong stories, that we can't do it, that we're not ready for change. We just have to take that step. We want it to be easy, and I don't think it has to be hard. It's just that it may feel the stretching of our comfort circle until we get to that next spot. But any of us in the tribe here with Doc V, we know that we put ourselves there so we'd have resources available. We have people getting ready for surgery. We have people that are non-surgical. We have people 15 years post-surgical still at goal weight. We have people opening businesses. We have people in profitable businesses. We have people that are coaching and mentoring. We have people in every avenue available for a hand up for anyone looking for it. So trust yourself to take that step, and know that if it starts to feel like a stumble, learn, open yourself up, reach for the resources to help you get to the next step, and enjoy the path. I'm in such a place of feeling good today because I took that step. But I'll have to say thank you to God and thank you to the universe for putting me in that position. Because when I sat at my desk knowing this was something I intended to do yesterday, and the person I needed to talk to walked up behind me and said, "Good morning." And I'm going to tell you, since we've been back in the office, that's never happened. I'm like, okay, message received. It's time. Take on the step and make it move forward. And it was maybe slightly uncomfortable at first, but turned out to be a really good conversation, and mutually for both parties. So that's my wish for you, is take that chance to move up so you can open new doors. They're waiting for you. All you have to do is step through them. Have a beautiful day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.